assessment. We have some guests with us today, and then we let them give you a introduction themselves. Tell you what they are about. So, our next segment, we open the line after this. We have some discussion already. Very important. So, welcome and good morning to all.
Good morning, Rod. How are you? My name is Professor ptsd. I'm the director of the Procurement Institute. I'm here representing the Liberian group interested in addressing sexual gender-based violence and creating awareness around those issues.
Good morning, my name is Aaron. Good morning, my name is Aaron Ireland. I'm also with Dr. Cindy. And I'm very excited to be here today to do what I love doing. And we're looking forward to having a fruitful discussion.
Good. So, what exactly
That's a good question, and that's a good way to begin. Today, what we'd like to do is to do what we are doing, many places right now, creating awareness. As we know, sexual and gender-based violence is a menace in our country. The rates are going very high, but that's not only the critical issue. The ages that are getting affected are getting lower. It means even the younger children who should be the future of our nation are being affected, de-traumatized, affected, and their future is being stolen away right before our eyes. So we are here to throw some light, to create awareness, and to raise an army that stands up against this menace so that we can have a change in this country.
good? So, awareness. Don't you think there are places of awareness from?
We don't think awareness has been enough as long as we still see one case. Until we see a total eradication of this menace of our country, we will continue to recruit tribal people, honest people, sincere people, and there are many of them. All we are saying is, together, we can continue and we will do the fight and we will succeed. With those intro, I again like to welcome Aaron, my colleague, to this very, very important podcast. We have done this in one or two places, but today we have a special edition. Just to go over a few of the basics. For people who maybe have not heard us, who have not listened to us, can we just go back to the basics of saying, what for us is gender violence?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Cindy. You see, gender violence has to do with violence is, done against somebody that is against their will based on their gender, sex, or, belief or power, or maybe the person feels they are over and that person in a simple term. So most likely, gender-based violence is based on, for some people they want to say holistically it's based on sex, whether you're male or female. And somebody violating you, somebody doing things against your will, or you don't agree with that, and the person forcefully does that to you, that's gender-based violence.
Yeah, but I think from your definition, I pick up a very strong point. So gender-based violence can also be just laws that discriminate against certain elements of our society.
Sure.
Like a promotion is based on certain gender or certain requirements. Somebody has to satisfy certain requirements, either your personal satisfaction or offer you, whatever it is. So these are all
different kinds of things. The gender-based violence is just the holistic term for all of the different kinds of violence. There are a lot of different things entailed, a lot of different things under it. But if you just want to call it generally, you call it gender-based violence. But if you want to break it down, like what Dr. Sandy is saying, there are a lot of different forms of violence that you find under gender-based violence.
So, Aaron, why is this so important to be discussing in Liberia? Where is Liberia generally in the whole continuum of gender-based violence?
is important because nowadays, from the days of old to now, we still see people being abused. We still see people breaking the same laws that we have. And when we look at Liberia, gender-based violence has the propensity, not even only in Liberia, has the magnetic to destroy an entire society. This is a crime against humanity. This is something that is humiliating. So, bringing it down to Liberia, there are a lot of people who are very violated, and these are young people. Some of them are over. For the most part, these are people that will depend on for the future. These are people that have their future ahead of them, and someone in just few minutes try to destroy this entire future. That person needs to be penalized. So for Liberia, we have started this fight from the days of our fathers and our great, but we still need to do it. Like we said in the intro, until we see the zero tolerance of gender-based violence, we can't stop. So we can't say we got to this point, or we can't say we are not at this point. We need to keep talking about it, because every day in our communities, in our society, people are being abused on a daily basis.
Okay. So this is a serious matter.
Very serious.
And I think I can be able to give a testimony about that, because as a researcher and a professor, I have researched gender-based violence across this country, and basically in many of the communities that we were able to visit in each country in Liberia, we asked this same question. The first question we asked: does gender-based violence exist in this community? And it's a resounding yes in every community that we have.
Even in your homes.
Yes, that's where we are coming. The next question we ask is, if gender-based violence occurs here, what is available to people to seek redress when these things happen? And actually, that is where the elephant seems to be standing in the way. That when these things happen and people are affected, the path for redress is so cumbersome, it's so difficult, and sometimes for some people, even impossible. And my understanding is this group, the Liberia Sexual Gender-Based Violence Awareness Group, is here to be able to break down some of the barriers, hold accountable the power holders and the power brokers that need to take action to deal and give redress to issues of gender-based violence. If that is the case, there is also the quest or the thinking. Oh, maybe Liberia just came from war and so forth, so maybe the war contributed to some of it. Do you have that perception?
Well, for me, I really do think, there are different forms of gender-based violence that are happening before the war, and maybe if someone wants to attribute this to the war, I don't believe the war is the reason why we have gender-based violence now. If it contributed, it must have increased the rate of gender-based violence. And one reason I think so, because we had a discussion before, and something you said, which I took very cardinal. Before the war, there wasn't any statistics about these things. There was nobody writing like you talking about. You've done research, and the entire world has been research, and you guys been bringing out the issues of gender-based violence. But before the war, who knew the rate of gender-based violence? Who knew what was gender-based violence is, in fact? So we can say the war contributed to the war is the reason why we have violence. Even before the war, there were women low status in society, and those are all forms of different gender-based violence. The war may have just increased the rate, but the war is not the reason why we have gender-based violence today.
Okay. Many people attribute things to the war, but we are 17 years away from the war. The war ended in the summer of 2003. We are in 2020, 17 years. Should really the issue of the war be an effect on any of the things that should shape us today?
Personally, with the kind of resources that since the war ended to now that have been placed into SGD, I can no longer attribute what's happening now to the war.
Thank you. I think I share your frustration, and I think I would call on every Liberian to see that not only on the issue of sexual and gender-based violence, in all of our areas of administration, governance, security, we should stop attributing our weaknesses, our shortfalls to the war. We have not just come from out of war. We are 17 years away from war, and we should begin to behave differently. You mentioned that there are laws. Are the laws strong enough, or in fact, there enough law to look into this whole issue? And the law that created the Ministry of Gender specifically to look into this. Are there enough laws? Are there what generally on the legal framework? What is happening? What is there enough being done in that context?
So, firstly, we look at are there enough laws? If you ask me, I'll say there are enough laws to govern SBD and Liberia. Effectively, they are not effective because these laws, you see, we have our taxpayer, our government use taxpayer money, send some of people we call experts to conferences, to these various protocols to go and be a part of it, be signatory to it. They go there, they come back. I mean, you use taxpayer money, we pay their way, we fund in the best hotels. They come back. These things that they go and talk about, they don't implement it. So for the laws, we have laws. For the implementation, that's why I think is the problem.
So the laws are there.
Yeah,
they are effective. The laws have created the Ministry of Gender to be specifically strengthening the issue of gender in this country. We even have laws that have created specialized courts. We have specialized prosecutors on this. We have a women children protection in our national police and other security services. We have a gender task force in almost all of our ministries and agencies today. So there are a lot of progress being made in the legal framework to address these issues. So what you are saying is the effectiveness of implementing these laws and these actions. That is maybe a task that we need to rally more people. And I tell you, this marching army will not rest until every fabric of this society is recruited and enlisted for this war. We will declare war on gender-based violence in Liberia. And we are recruiting all that will stand as an army towards that. Okay. Aaron, I am very pleased that today we have very special people who have come to join us for this discussion. And when we're talking these things, we should not just be talking in the air. We should not just be talking in abstract. There are times when it's really good to have some hands-on live stories and affected people who have felt the pinch of this, who have lived the painful experiences, especially interacted with the laws there are in these processes. And maybe it's helpful that they can share their experiences. So we have two of such people today joining us, and I'd just like to welcome, we're now going to use their real names. We're going to simply call Mama and Nancy, who are here to just share with us practical experience of what they have gone through and how gender violence has affected them.
And before they come in, you see, I'm very, very much glad that you're here. All of our different, awareness activities we've been having, we're just bringing out the issues, we're giving statistics about, these things happening. We're talking about people in our communities that have been victimized. But you see, sometimes, like you said, we need to bring out those specific people so that people can hear from themselves. And I just want to let the audience know, the voices they are about to hear, these are young women that have took upon their time, they have voluntarily, made themselves available to come and talk about something that didn't happen to their family member or to somebody they know, but themselves. And they're going to give us, their own personal experience, something that just happened in now or the day before the war, something that happened to them like in few days ago, and how these measures are being followed. So I'm very glad to have them also.
Thank you. Okay, Mama, Can we start with you? We would like to just, for the brevity of this, we will just introduce you as Mama. What has been your experience on the front line of gender-based violence? Has it ever affected you in any way?
Thank you very much, Doctor. I'm glad to be on this show today because I've been trying for my voice to be heard out there. Not just for me, for all of those people who have been affected in similar ways. And those that were affected with me that day a few weeks ago when we were apprehended somewhere in Limba called Baniki. We have Baniki in the village to be like that. Yes, indeed, I have been affected. And with other people that were with me, and luckily, people will say God first, then I had other people with me, or I wouldn't be sitting here giving this testimony. A few weeks ago in Limba County, somewhere called Baniki, where I came in a company, and I also worked there as an administrator. I went back there on the 18th of April. Luckily for me, I went along with an officer who I knew was a friend. Because of the measures that were put in place because of the COVID-19 that cars were now moving from one county to the other, so I asked the officer to accompany me because I have some food and other substances to share with me to the workers and and I also believe that I'm going to stay there for maybe 2 months, so I had enough to take me to that time since I didn't know when the test was going to occur. So when we got there, unfortunately for us, we were apprehended by our own people. I myself signed some of my contracts, and then they said that, oh, your partner didn't come in here and have a lot of about it. At first,
When you say apprehended, state security or?
we had, based on our agreement with the community to help to give the locals opportunity to have jobs, so we had some of the local young people in the community hired as security, ordinary security, for the company. So we are the ones that were the ones starting us. And it was surprising to me because these are people that are talk with and they were not even giving cross work. And some of them were against the act, some of them were for the act. And when we finally entered, the ones that were against started throwing things at the people. And I told the driver, I said, please drive to where I live because there's no signal in between and I can make a call to stop this, maybe call the police or call someone to make sure that this thing stops. That was around 7:30. So we got at where I stayed. We got at where I stayed, and then I got down, went to where I actually stayed. We got there, the car. And then when I got there, the car was surrounded by more than 35 men with guns and cutlasses in their hands. The officer was there afraid. The driver was there afraid. And there's a lady that was working with us luckily she's here with me, and she was crying. Oh, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? So making short because we don't have long time here. The naked Nancy, they took us down, they tie our hands at, during the war they fixed our head. I never saw that before in my life, all through the war.
This was just violence by the
men who were there, okay, from the directive of, according to them, from my partner. So those men tied us that night and threatened to kill us. And we were just there traumatized, praying to God that we can leave from here. Any way that God can take us from here, that next time that we're not even traveling to leave the places far away from us. But in that token, the police officers were there and they were afraid to, they couldn't do nothing about it. And it kept
police officers?
There were 2 officers that were yes, they were accompanying. They were apprehended too, but they didn't touch them, so they were just saying, and they were telling him once he act here, they were overpowered. They were overpowered, because there were no men in them. So, to cut a long story short, kept there throughout the night.
So you say you were tied and dressed?
She was dressed.
Okay.
I was tied. One other girl, her princess, was tied. The driver was tied. There were 3 tied. And she was dragged and then taken to the station.
I'm sorry, when you said your partner, I just want to make this clear. You have business partner or relationship?
The business partner, we were friends before we started business together.
Okay. So did this happen simply because you were a woman, or this violence? I mean, I will be asking Nancy in a minute, but her experience of her being undressed and what have you. But what was specifically the motivation? Was this purely because you were a woman, and what sort of violations, you experienced?
This is because I was a woman and we felt that we have more strength, and I think people believe in our society that women should not be in certain positions. So I believe that's the reason that I was apprehended in such manner.
Nancy,
Yeah.
I am hearing from Mama that you were also a part of the violence of the mental health in this particular area of our country. Fortunate member being a very peaceful, productive area, a wonderful place, very welcoming, especially for various kinds of investors and businesses. Danta is referred to as the city that never sleeps.
Are you from Lima?
I'm not from Lima. I'm a Liberian, and I get very interested in every part of Liberia. My work is here in Liberia. But for such a news to be coming out of this particular area with all of those accolades is a concern. So, Nancy, what particularly was your experience?
Thank you, Lord. Before I find out do your work, what is your responsibility? For me to see myself in there, I'm happy. I work with a company in the group, the company runs the company. My boy is in town, on the 18th, when he came back in the group. So when he came, that time then nothing for luck. He told me, oh, maybe my luck, I didn't think. What's going on? So I'm going back. I said, oh, boy, you know, he's going on. Then when he told me now, he was sort of very hot, but the student is thinking too. And we're going with the heavy north coming. Before having college, going in their hand, and this, you see, coming going the car. All the water down the other board, still with color. They won't continue. For me to tell the thing, and so I'm killing. Nobody will open more to stop. And we have to be able to kill you. I don't want to bring it there to get it. I'm taking a young disease there, let it go with us. Yeah, so they did it. So when they put 3 all in the pot, they tell the 3 boys then to go in different pots. They will happen to tell it back. The how they did the boys then the police people are kind along with our body. They did altar for the flower. They did altar because the people say they must devour them, they must devour all the kill off. They did altar manual until daybreak. When daybreak, it was 7. They know altar was born. They said they must have some altar there in round 8. That round 8 they will find altar. When we see their full altar, we will fire them. Day by day we will go. We do people, we can't do any other thing. Round 8 weeks, they add another altar on it. They say round now, we will get altar. The police will also a feeling for us. A feeling for us. So the other way, the feeling in the year another how the poor also run now. The people pay them, they start to release us. You go come in character. When we reach there, I will make it. I don't have sleep off. You know, But when we reach there, we tell the complaint to the people which is CEO Tafeta to say, but they didn't find out. When he found out from the CEO,
Okay, so let's say the matter was given to the police.
the matter was given to the security.
No, what I'm saying, the matter finally reached to the police, the Liberia police.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the police interpreter has information about this issue.
Yes.
And you were undressed, you were tied, and
I was on there.
yeah,
They beat me. They not that.
they beat you.
Yes.
Okay. Mama, I'd like to come back to you briefly. We are running out of time here. But because we want to open the lines for people who are listening, maybe they have some questions or comments, contributions to make to this. But basically speaking, when you have those kind of experience, you do go through a lot psychologically, your mindset, and you want redress. What are the avenues that are available? What have you done? Just say the matter has been given to the police. What is being done? What redress is being sought right now?
Thank you very much. First of all, that seemed like that things that was going on before actually to the mayor confirm. So actually the police said I have this in the joke, I'm calling her right away. And he called back, I called back and he said, yeah, I did call and he said they were on their way. So that whole night we were hoping they would come, they didn't come. In the morning, nobody came. So we finally got relief through the intervention of God and then the officers that were there. When we got to the police station, there were other officers there and we wanted to explain to them. They were all glad to pursue the case right away. They said, but there our commander comes. They said, who can be tying people at this point? This is now war time. So when the commander came, the whole scenario changed. His coming seems like, in my point of view, I could be wrong, like he already knew what was going on. And he came, he said, yes, who was your sick? And the officer who accompanied me started to explain his observation. As soon as the man started explaining, he picked up his phone rang, he picked up his phone. He stayed on the phone for almost like 15 minutes. Then he let us say, yeah, continue. When the man decided to talk, he said, what are you doing in Chapeta? You came to the city here, you didn't even reach to the police station. So he didn't even listen to the case. And then he said, anyway, somebody give me the CEO number, let me call him. So he called the guy in Monrovia. When he called, he went to the back of the building. I don't know what it is called. Somebody said the man said he will send his people to. So I said, we are talking about attempted murder. And you calling the person that told this guy to do this, to send his people to us. He said, yeah, let us get a quote. Right now I'm tired, I'm going home. I will be there when the people come, your call. So we signed out at that police station. The officer needed to come back to duty, so he left. And then me and the three girls, we sat there till 6 o'clock, nobody came. And then at the end of the day, we had to go and look for police station. So that's how, yeah.
Okay. So up to now, there is very little redress being done.
Okay.
Sure. All right, folks. This is the issue relating to some of the actions we're talking about. Truly, like whoever this commander that said this, nobody should be experiencing this in this Liberia, and exactly this is the kind of fight we would like to all join in to be able to address. In a minute, we'll be opening the lines. Just to prepare you, the numbers are 0777 921 921, and we'll be taking calls. If you have a comment, you have contributions, you have questions, either to us or to our guest today, we will be very happy to be able to take those calls. But just before then, I'd like to ask Aaron. Aaron, when we hear about these kinds of pathetic stories in today's Liberia, what do you think the line ministries, you have the police, you have the Minister of Gender, you have the Minister of Internal Affairs, and all all of these line ministries that should ensure that things like this get the proper redress, even the courts. Why do you think that there is so much lapses or slowness or even maybe inaction to ensure that justice is given in these kinds of situations?
Listening to the story, I'm kind of shaking because this shouldn't be happening. And to be honest, what she talked about the officer as an officer of the law, your primary goal is to protect life and property. And such a thing happened, I think this should have taken another turn right the moment the officer came, because that is his duty. Now, coming to the issue of the ministry, all of the different ministries or authorities with these things, this is why we are still at this stage as a country. We cannot take any form of violence lightly. There is no big violence and small violence. Violence is violence. These are things that these kind of people should not be walking freely in our nation. It is the duty of the government, and it is the duty of authorities to make sure that these people face the justice. So I don't know what's her relationship, whether she reached to the Ministry of Gender and other stakeholders, but I think listening to her now, people of someone like her who have gone through this thing, the gender ministry should be in forefront of it, because this is violence against women. This is violence against an innocent woman.
I agree.
So we should understand in this country that violence there's no big violence, no small violence. Any kind of violence should be taken seriously, and whosoever that is involved should be apprehended. And all of these different authorities in the area of fighting against violence in Nigeria should well understand that they are using taxpayer money to pay them. Besides, they have courts, and their courts is to protect people from this kind of acts. So they need to move faster. They need to move as quick as possible. You remember I told you that there was this slogan we had when I was coming up from an advocacy background that justice denied, justice delayed is justice denied. Whenever we keep prolonging things,
Lawrence, let me hold you. Lawrence. Excuse me, Lawrence. Hello, Lawrence. Well, okay, sorry. I was trying to get Lawrence, because whatever the situation, there should be no part of Liberia that should not be under the laws of Liberia.
no part.
And what we are saying is we hope that if this is the case, then we all need to rise up and ensure that Liberia as Liberia is law-abiding. All right, the lines are open, 077-921-921. You can put through your calls, contribute, or ask questions. In the meantime, Mama, have this case been reported to, or has this case been taken to court?
Yeah, the case was prematurely taken to court according to the police officer in question, the one I just spoke about.
When you say premature, what do you mean?
Okay. Well, I have never.
Okay, we have a call. Let's just take this call. Yes? Naima, yes? Where, Mariama?
Where is your house?
A police officer road. That's Marima, we will be very happy to get details of this, and in whatever way we can stand by you to create a better awareness for justice in this kind of matters, we'll be very happy to do that with you.
So, do you think at the end of the show we can announce?
Come again?
Okay.
My office is at the University of Liberia at the Kofi Annan Institute for Conflict Transformation.
But what we're going to do also at the end of today's show, we're going to, okay.
Yes, good morning, how are you? Mr. Blamo? Okay, Mr. Blamo. Please call your number.
Just call your number, please.
Please call your number, Mr. Blamo.
Blamo?
Yes, please call the number.
Call the number, sir. Please call the number.
My number is 777.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Blamo. We will call you right at the end of this show.
So, like I was saying, Dr. Cindy, like after the show, when we close, we will announce number that, you know, in the case of the previous call, not Blamo, that you can call to get in contact with us.
Okay. I know there are other calls coming in, but we are running out of time here. We need to wrap up as we have just about 3 more minutes. This has been a very thrilling but very heavy-hearted discussion today. I've not had many of these kinds of life situations facing me live. I mean, I've been out, I've dealt with this. We have laws that deal with these kind of issues. The laws are sometimes not effective when you need them, and there are a lot of constraints towards this. Now, some of the concerns that people have expressed is also that the courts have their own challenges. Now, what has been your experience with the courts? Because the court system, and the whole prosecutorial process in this country sometimes just takes very, very long. Is this because the courts don't have what they need or don't have all of the mechanisms to be able to move as fast, especially on issues of criminal cases?
Well, I haven't been in court, but I think with the issue of violence, religious violence in this country, we have the expertise, we have the laws, we have the mechanisms. I just see this as some unnecessary delay at times to you know, weaken the whole magnitude of this process. If we prosecuting them and reaching to the point of verdict, reaching to the point where these people are sentenced or they face the law and then they serve their penalties, people will start to see these things, because the only way people can start is when people start to see example. So the court, I don't know whether they're having those challenges, but they need to do things. They need to make sure that these cases are taken seriously and they are being followed to the end.
Okay, thank you. Mama, before I leave you, maybe you can help us with something, your thoughts. What do you think we need to do as a country to prevent these kinds of madness from happening in this country? Do you have a suggestion?
Yeah, well, as Aaron just said that the laws are unjust, I think what we need to do is to implement these laws. There's areas, they go to conferences, they go to protocol, they know what needs to be done. The implementation
it's a problem I think we have in our people. And if we don't start implementing, a lot of people will get affected and they will just live in trauma all their life. People need justice. We need justice for us, for those that harm before us, and for those that will be harmed after us.
Oh, that's a sad parting comment, Mama, and I pray that we don't get to that stage as a country, or if we are at that stage, we will surely be that stage. Nancy, if you were to go back to this community, what would you like to see done in order to help you get back to this community? Because that's where you live, right? That's your home. What would help you easily get back to that community?
You think I will help them the government really supposed to farm in and put stuff to the field. Because they think that war myself, I'm not living in war. I was living in that war, war finished. But now, you think that saw a left, what's your question? So government really supposed to put it under control.
We really need to work to put such situation completely away from our society, from our communities. All right, Nancy. Appreciate you, and really, Mama, it's been a wonderful time having you. Aaron, do you have closing comments?
Yes, very quickly.
On this program?
Very quickly, I want to appreciate really Monrovia for your time. And I just want to let you know that the issue of violence, no one should be walking freely. No violator should be walking freely on the street. It is our duty as citizens, as community members in government to make sure that these people are apprehended. And we are not going to stop until we see these things happen.
Thank you. I think one of the key that I take out of all of this is that we're very, very concerned about the preventive side, which is usually cheaper and most effective. We need to put mechanisms in place that prevent violence in the first place. There are so many mechanisms we can employ. We need to do a little bit more community awareness. We need to do more on sensitizing our young men, our young women, who usually are used as messengers in the perpetration of violence. We need to engage our youth, especially into productive activity. We need to get them into training. We need to get them into academic institutions. We need to get them into technical institutions. And most effectively, we need to be able to show a clear application of justice when there is an infraction, so that others will be prepared to not get this issue about it. It's been a very, very good time hosting you around and our special guests, Mama and Nancy. And the Radio Monrovia is very good, putting me in this presenter seat at least for these few minutes. I wish I was an employee of Radio Monrovia. I enjoy the comfort here, but I want to say thank you on a serious note for hosting us and for presenting this program. Thank you very much.